and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Express and Global TV live in the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Jumai Manson. Now the news in full. The Senate has increased the 2024 budget by a total of 1.2 trillion naira, moving the budget from 27.5 trillion naira to 28.7 trillion naira. According to reports submitted by the Appropriation Committee led by Senator Solomon Adeola, aggregate expenditure was pegged at 28,777,404,073,861 naira. Statutory transfers 1,742 billion. The presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the 2023 presidential election, Peter Obi, has donated the sum of 10 million naira to victims of the Christmas Eve attack in Bokos and Birnin Ladi local government area of Plateau State. Obi announced the donation when he visited the internally displaced persons IDPs camp in Bokos local government area on Saturday. While addressing the victims at the Church of Christ in Nation, Bokos, Obi said he was saddened visiting Plateau again to condole people suffering from attacks by gunmen. Obi said the humanitarian challenges occasioned by these attacks are too huge to be left for the government alone. And so he called on other Nigerians and corporate organizations to come to the aid of these victims. He urged Nigerians to show them love and go beyond empathizing with the victims, but support them with foods and clothing while IDPs. Further calling on the federal government to deal with these issues of gunmen across the country, while encouraging the victims and the entire Plateau people to forgive their attackers and allow God revenge on their behalf. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has urged the federal government to address the economic hardship that Nigerians are going through in 2024. Atiku made the call in his 2024 New Year message to the nation. Atiku, however, acknowledged that 2023 was definitely a challenging year with important lessons for the future. Atiku called for a well-thought vision of national planning that will deliberately make the common people of Nigeria the centerpiece of our development. He urged the government to show a clear direction of its policy projection and desist from subsisting behavior of groping in the dark. Over now to Governor Sheriff Oberewori of Delta State has approved 15 hectares of land as a take-off site for the Federal University of Medical and Health Sciences Kwale Ndowa West local government area. Oberewori, who stated this when he received leaders and stakeholders of the Ndowa Nation at Government House Asaba, said the university will open up more development in the Kwale and its environs. The governor noted that because he was focused on the development of all parts of the state, he had deliberately avoided citing any project in its Asubi community. He thanked the Ndowa and Amoma Nation for their support of his administration and during his mother-in-law's funeral, assuring that he would continue to provide equitable leadership for all Deltans. The National Parent Teachers Association of Nigeria, NAPTEN, has called for a collaboration between academic unions in tertiary institutions and the federal government to improve the nation's quality of education in 2024. Ogunbanjo said the education sector in the outgoing year had done well, but there is room for improvement. He said that would be achieved if the unions and government could work together. Over now to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has invited the former Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadia Umar Farouk, of an ongoing probe into the sum of 37,170,845,743 naira and 44 kobo allegedly laundered under her watch through a contractor, James Owete. The former minister was asked to appear before interrogators at the EFCC headquarters, Jabi, Abuja, on Wednesday, January 3rd, 2024, to explain the alleged fraud. An exclusive document revealed on Saturday. The Nigerian Meteorological Agency has released a weather forecast projecting the prevalence of slight dust haze in the northern region of the country on Sunday. NIMNET's weather outlook released on Sunday in Abuja predicted the prevalence of slight dust haze across the northern region of the country, with improvements in horizontal visibility as prevailing weather conditions across the country. Dust haze continues to impact visibility, with gradual improvements expected in certain regions. The agency anticipates that the northern region of the country will experience slight dust haze throughout Sunday, which may affect horizontal visibilities. In light of these weather conditions, NIMNET has advised individuals to take precautions to mitigate the impact of the dust haze on outdoor activities and travel. This includes using proactive protective gear such as face masks and goggles to reduce exposure to airborne particles and safeguard respiratory health. Additionally, individuals with respiratory conditions are encouraged to limit outdoor exposure during this period and seek appropriate medical advice if experiencing any diverse health effects related to the dust haze. NDLEA arrested 1,016 suspects and seized 9 tons of illicit drugs in Kano State in 2023. The commandant of the agency in Kano State, Abubakar Idris Ahmed, speaking on Sunday in Kano, noted that the suspects arrested were 40 females, 976 males. He said the agency secured 102 convictions in the outgoing year and secured the forfeiture of 5 vehicles, just as 104 cases were still pending in court. Idris Ahmed also noted that the drugs seized were 6,078 kg of Indian hemp, 1,696 kg of codeine and tramadol, and 1,335 kg of cocaine, heroin. The command also destroyed more than 15 tons of assorted narcotic drugs and psychotropic substances in 2003, he added. You're watching News Express live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on StarTimes channel 276. Kindly follow us on all social media platforms using @GlobalTV and other handles now showing on your screen. When News Express returns, rice remains restricted despite lifting of forest ban customs. The news continues shortly with details of these and more stories right after this break. Please stay with us. You're welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is Global Television, bring you live broadcast of News Express. Thank you for staying with us. Kyiv on Saturday said it had destroyed 21 of 47 Iranian-made Shahed drones fired by Russian overnight, adding that 6 guided missiles and also targeted the northeastern city of Kharkiv. The fresh Russian strikes came a day after an unprecedented attack on the city of Belgorod. And as the two sides took turns accusing each other of pummeling civilian areas of their shared frontier region over the weekend, the Ukrainian Air Force said in a statement on Telegram Sunday that overnight drones were particularly targeted at the front line of defense as well as at civilians, military and infrastructure facilities in the frontline territories. It did not say whether the 6 missiles had hit their target. Over now to business revenue expectation from oil export, which government expects to deploy for effective implementation of the 2024 budget, may be affected as major global oil traders are moving away from petrodollar transactions. In the 2024 budget proposal, the federal government has considered conservative oil price benchmark of $77.96 per barrel and a daily oil production estimate of 1.78 million barrels per day. After a careful review of global oil market trends and that a Naira to US dollar exchange rate of 750 Naira per US dollar was adopted for 2024 as well. However, report shows that a fifth of global oil trade this year was settled in currencies different from the US dollar as countries such as Russia and China move away from the petrodollar. Nigeria is pushing to reach and exceed the 2024 crude oil production budget target of 1.7 million barrels per day. Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Oil Hanneken Lapobiri, said that the country can boost crude oil production to 2 million per day. In sports, Rafael Nadal left the door ajar Sunday to continue after the 2024 season, but conceded there was a high percentage that he was on his last trip as a player to Australia. Speaking ahead of his comeback from a 12-month injury absence at the season opening Brisbane International, the 37-year-old Spaniard said he did not know for sure what the future held. The 22-time Grand Slam champion said that the last year with surgery for a hip injury had been tough and he contemplated quitting at one point during his recovery. Nadal, who have been sidelined since the injury in his hip at the 2023 Australian Open, began his singles comeback against a qualifier in the first round in Brisbane. Real Madrid manager Carlo Ancelotti has signed a new deal with the club which will run until June 2026. The Italian 64 was appointed at the Bernabeu for a second time in 2021 on an initial 3-year deal. He was linked with taking over as Brazil's manager earlier this year, but said he wanted to remain at the club. Ancelotti has won 10 titles as Real boss, including 2 Champions League, more recently in his first season back at the club in 2021-22. He has also lifted 1 Liga, 2 Copas del Rey, 2 Club World Cups, 2 European Super Cups, and the Spanish Super Cup once. The Real manager is the only coach to have won 4 European Cup, while he is also the first to win all 5 major European leagues in Italy, England, France, Germany, and Spain. And that's it on News Express, and it came to you live from the Nigerian's capital, Abuja. We're on Star Times, channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms using @Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. I am Jumai Manson. Thank you for watching. Good afternoon, and see you again.